Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to know all I could about Broadway and producing Broadway shows. Now that my Capstone project has come along, I finally am able to learn all I wanted to learn about Broadway and more. Many contributing factors that go into producing a Broadway show. For example, props, or maybe special effects. I needed these questions because they contributed into answering my main question: how do you produce a Broadway show? In order to answer my main question, one of the questions I needed the answer to was, how do the special effects work? And is it harder because the show is live and it's not possible to edit the show? Well, I knew the answer to the second part. It's a lot harder because you're not able to edit the show. But I had to search a lot of times on the internet in order to find the answer to the first part. In a Broadway show, special effects are one of the most important parts of a Broadway show. It creates a cool effect and leaves people in awe. In one show called Les Miserables, a man is standing on the edge of a bridge, watching what is happening below, when all of a sudden he falls off. It should only have taken a second till his feet hit the ground, but when special effects came along, things changed up a bit. When the man fell off the bridge, instead of hitting the ground in an instant, he falls for almost 10 seconds. It's truly amazing seeing what can happen in Broadway. So how do the special effects work, and do you think it's harder to do special effects in a live Broadway show than it is to do movie?
So I think in a movie, first of all, you have several shots at it. So they'll set up the special effect, there's a smoke, and they'll do several practice takes with it, and then they'll get the real actors in there, then they'll do several takes of it, to try to get the perfect one. On stage, you get one shot a night, right? So you still have all that rehearsal time. Certain special effects, whether it's people fighting on stage, or whether it's monkeys flying, we still rehearse those every day. So in a way, the stakes are a little higher because you really shot in front of a live audience and you get that audience back. So that adds a little bit more difficulty to it. But because you rehearse it, and because everyone, whether it's someone's flying across, that someone is so they'll rehearse. The actual monkey will rehearse. The person making it go back and forth. The person, stage manager who's calling it, will rehearse, so that it just feels like second nature, against the actual show.
Another question I needed to ask in order to answer my main question was, how does casting people to be in a show work? What are some qualities like singing and dancing that a director wants in his or her actors? In Broadway show auditions, many people try out for parts. Casting for a Broadway show is probably the most important, because if there aren't people that try out for the show, there will be nobody playing the characters in their show. If there's nobody playing their part, there will be no show. Most auditions for Broadway shows start out like this. There will be notices hanging around telling people what to expect of the auditions. It will usually say the characters' names and what their personality is. It will also say what is needed for the part. If they want someone fat, skinny, tall, thin, short, blonde, strong, young, old, etc. The notices will also say that you need to be able to dance, or you need to be able to sing. The next part is the people coming to the auditions. In Broadway auditions, there are workshops people go through. Each workshop will focus on something different, and after each workshop, people are eliminated. Soon it will come down to only a few people. One person will be the person to play regularly, another person will be a standby that will play the part if the person who plays it regularly is out sick or can't make it in time. And really, Rosie, the auditions took a really long time. There was about 150 people who auditioned, and only 7 people got in. There was a lot of callbacks and many hours of auditions till they finally had the people that they needed.
Has their strengths, and so each track in the show, we're looking for something really specific. Can this person sing a really high note? And so if a lot of people soundtracks, so cover the leads. Is sick, and one of some members came up. Like today, our Bach is out, and so one of some members goes into the Bach, and so then one of our swings goes into the ensemble member. So they want to make sure that when they hire that one person, they can cover those tracks. For the leads, for the most part, it's actors and agents. The agents, they get what are called breakdowns from the show. The show says, hey, this and this and this and this. And the agents say, hey, I want you to see my actor. Alexandra, she's fantastic, right? So then they ask her to do So when they're auditioning for a show, it's hundreds of people they see.
So it's always someone there for everything.
There's always several people there for every role.
Another question I needed to ask in order to answer my main question was what expenses goes into producing a Broadway show. In most shows, the amount of money that is used to produce the show is in a range from $1 million all the way up to $15 million. Wicked is one of those shows that costs a lot of money to produce. Wicked opened in October 2003, and it took $14 million to produce it. There's only 8 shows per week, but between all those shows, it costs approximately $800,000 to keep the show running. Because Wicked is a show everyone wants to see, it is able to pay the rent, and that's why it's been alive for so many years. Another question I needed to ask in order to answer my main question is how is the music for a Broadway show made? The music for a Broadway show always starts with an idea. It could be that you just get an inspirational idea and you want to bring it to life, or that you are inspired by something else that leads you to make it a Broadway show. Stephen Schwartz is one of the people who was inspired by something else. He is the producer of Wicked. He's also the producer of Godspell. He came up with the idea to produce Wicked when he was on vacation. He was on a cruise with his friends, and one of his friends was reading the book Wicked. He was very intrigued by the book and he wanted to read it, so he read it and decided that it must become a musical. He found ways to cooperate with people, and he found his way to make Wicked a musical. He had to first make all the songs for the show, then he had to write all of the lyrics. It was a hard and long process, but it was worth it, because now Wicked is a one-of-a-kind show. Another question I needed to ask in order to answer my main question is what are some different roles of the props at a Broadway show? Props are used to emphasize the show and elaborate a bit more about the person that uses the prop. Each prop has a story, and it will unravel its story throughout the show. For example, in the show Matilda always carries around her books. The story that the books tell is the knowledge of Matilda. The books also show she is so smart that she can expand her brain so she can make things move with her mind.
So there's Magic Broomstick, which is the one that comes up out of the ground. And there's Fight Broom, which is the broom whenever she and want to get into the fight, which I think is a little bit short. I may have just told you. I may have just made that up, but
Like when she was when her sister died?
yeah, I think that one's a little bit shorter just because it has to maneuver it a little bit more. And then her other broom that she was on for the rest of it too. And it's actually pretty pretty big. They like practice with it. They make sure that it's counterweighted nicely so that it's not Glenda has more than one wand. She's got a big bubble wand, which is like a really long wand. She's got the training wand. Which after 5 years, well extinguished.
That she got because Alpha said, I think we need it.
She said, right, one that one says, Miss Alpha, I'm assistant, I paid you in the sorcery class.
Oh, yes.
I had no idea.
Another question I needed to ask in order to answer my main question was, how do the lights in the show contribute to the mood or tone of each scene? In shows, lighting is one of the most important parts of the play. It gives emotions to the audience and sets a tone. For example, in Finding Neverland, the mom was dying. Instead of having her die like a normal person would, the director decided to make it so she flew out of the room and went to live in Neverland. The lights contribute a lot in this scene because she went flying up in the air. There were little pieces of pixie dust floating around her. They weren't actually pieces of pixie dust, it was just the light. But when the light swirled around her, it gave the audience a calming feeling. It also gave a lot of heartbreak to the audience because it made the scene even more sad, watching her float away gracefully. And everyone knew that was her last goodbye.